I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, Brent,
Morning.
Commander.
Howdy.
We're all here this morning. Glad you're all here with us. Let's see who's on the podium this morning. We'll start there. Let's see. Scott Tomko, Ricky King, Mark Kurtz, all males on the podium.
What happened to Stephanie Conti, who was number one?
I don't know. She was. Yeah, she was there. You're right.
She was there.
We'll give her. I don't. There it is. Now it just came back. Okay, Stephanie Conti, Scott Tomko, Ricky King,
Mark's still there.
You're still there. You're just not on the podium. Stephanie gets in. Early bird gets the worm.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. It's 77 degrees in Victoria under mostly sunny skies, heading to a high today of 94. Now, of note, tomorrow 78 to 95, Sunday 78 to 96. Not until next Tuesday do we have a slight chance of rain.
Okay, good.
According to the often. No job is as easy to do as being a weather prognosticator because they're wrong about 80% of the time. And nobody really gets mad at them.
Not really.
Am I right? I mean, like, you don't go, that guy's an idiot. It just doesn't happen. They don't get mad at him. It's a pretty good gig.
It's not a bad gig.
Hey, wow, look, it's raining. You know, it's like, you go outside, they go, it's partly sunny. You look up, the clouds are black, and then it rains on your car. You're like, it's partly sunny somewhere.
But we told you it was going to be a 10% chance of rain.
Yeah, you had something to promote, Jackie Parsons.
Well, go by, get your bifin and everything else. Take care of all the mosquitoes and pests in your yard. Any of the pest controls products, they've got them. But also, the South Texas Shetland Pony Club is having a bake sale there today, so you can feed yourself and your animals with Deerland Feed today.
I can report
if they raise enough money, Jackie will take a pie in the face today.
Nice. This portion or this season has passed, so you've missed the pre-emergent stage. But the Balin that I used this year absolutely worked.
So go there and get the emergent now.
Yeah. Well, there's a pre-emergent for grass burrs that you can put out, and I wouldn't say I was skeptical because Jackie Parsons told me it would work.
And after she told you the 21-7-14 would work,
it worked.
There was
like
no skepticism left.
And I put the stuff out like in February. I think it was 90 days or 45 days. I don't remember.
I wonder if the pre-emergent would take care of sassafras.
I don't know. I can just tell you that now my whole backyard is dirt. There's no grass. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It completely eliminated the grass burrs that were a major factor in my backyard last year.
There's Heather Stewart checking in, Jordan Glass, Will Vincent, Torrin Bales, David Glass, Jordan Glass, Marvin Mickers, Linda Chris, good morning, Judge Posey checking in, Scott Snow, Tammy Keeling, Greg Garcia, there's Jackie Parsons, Monty Howard, good to see you, sir, Barbara Brazil, Katina Arterberry, Lisa Poole, Brad Mitchell, Jr. I don't take a pie in the face.
No, we don't. No, we don't do that.
There you go. Time for your Bayline again.
So do I need to do it? This will be a third time. Do I need to do it again? Because I've got it.
90 days. Every 90 days, it looks like.
Every 90 days? Forever? I mean, like, is that?
Forever.
Kill his mic. It's Friday. Every 90 days. I did not know that.
That's what it says.
Okay, well, I've got it. So I can go out there and throw it down.
Where do we want to start today? The Musk Trump war.
Yeah, I don't know much about this yet, to be honest. I don't know who I would
Believe.
I don't know what the left. The left is the one that's really got to make a decision, right? Because they hate Elon. They hate him because he doesn't pay his share of taxes. They hate him because he's the richest man on the planet, and he did it all off government contracts. So they hate him. They hate the guy, and yet the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So therefore, he's at odds with Trump, and they're like, "See, he's the smartest guy on the planet, and he's the Stephen Hawking with legs. We got to go with Elon. When in doubt, you've got to go with Elon." So I don't know where you fall on that. Elon saying that Trump's on the Epstein list. Elon saying that Trump ought to be impeached. Elon apparently taking his billions and going home. I don't know what you do with that. Elon saying that J.D. Vance ought to be president.
Well, because he's saying that Trump should be impeached now.
Right. Not just impeached, but, removed.
Is this foreign influence on election?
I don't know. He's an American, isn't he? I don't know.
Also yesterday implied that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and that's why they haven't been made public.
Wow.
It's got a little nasty yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm not sure for either. Trump said the easiest way to trim fat out of the budget is to cancel all of Elon's contracts.
Problem is, our government probably couldn't do much without half of Elon's contracts.
Well,
he does all of our space exploration.
It's just very it's a troubling situation because they're both being somewhat bratty.
And I don't know what started it. He wasn't going to be there for long. He was only going to be there for through May, I think was it, right?
He was
or
critical
maybe
of
April.
The one big beautiful bill, and he said that it didn't make enough cuts. And he said, "Here we are, we're finding hundreds of billions of dollars worth of problems, and the president's raising the debt ceiling and creating more debt." So at the end of the day, Elon basically just taking a more conservative stance than the president and saying, "I'm not happy with this bill." And apparently Trump said, "Stay in your lane." And the next thing you know, he said, "I don't have a lane, and you wouldn't have a lane without me. You wouldn't have gotten elected without me," Elon told the president. So very interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
What do y'all think? Somebody give us a call.
Yeah. If you've got a thought, we'd love to have it.
Jackie says 90 days on the Balon until you don't see any stuff in your yard. Balon, whatever it is. Balon.
Yeah.
Throw baloney out.
Yeah. Yeah. Funky Trey Molina checking in. Good morning.
Andrew Alvarez, Tommy Kingston.
We've been promising Corpus for so long. I'm starting to want to lean on Magic 95.9 a little bit. Love those guys. That is the mothership. They are family. This is tongue in cheek because I would not cross Lilo Arguelles, but I'm at the point where we've been saying we're going to be live in Corpus, and it's time for those folks to make that happen. There's a demand there. There's an opportunity there.
Funky wants us there.
Funky wants us there. There's money on the table. We need to be live in Corpus Christi as well. We can wreak havoc.
We could
on the city of Corpus.
Andrew Alvarez asked if the left will start buying Teslas again.
I don't know. See, it's a serious dilemma for a leftist. Which one do you hate Elon more for being rich and not paying his share of taxes, or do you hate Trump and say, "See, I told you so. Elon's right. Elon finally saw behind the curtain."
Monty Howard says Musk is a troll in his opinion. You're not the
I don't
only one to
disagree,
think
Monty.
that. I heard somebody say this is nothing more than similar to the WWF and two wrestlers, the good guy and the bad guy, or two wrestlers that used to be friends become foes, and somebody's got to be the bad guy.
So go with that. Does it give Trump the opportunity to now go to the Senate and say, "You guys need to toughen up this big, beautiful bill so that when they send it back to the House, it's even more conservative, even more restrictive"?
Well, according to Rand Paul yesterday, that's what their plan is. And that's what I heard Senator Ron Johnson the other day in an interview say the exact same thing, that their version of this
is going to be
will
tighter.
have more cuts. So
very interesting. And maybe
then will
that's
the House
deal.
Republicans pass it if it's tighter than what it was.
Could it be? Although you wouldn't think that Elon would throw out the Epstein files and all that if it was
Wouldn't
staged.
think.
I'm just thinking politics, not
Yeah,
personalities.
but Greg Garcia has a good point on the politics. If Trump was in those files, he says that would have come out during the Biden administration.
I agree with that, unless Biden was in the file.
Well, Biden didn't know he was in the file.
True story.
Jared McCrugan checking in. Good morning, cuz. Andrew Alvarez says he's thinking this is one big psyop. Yeah, I don't know. It could certainly be a deflection.
It could be.
It's a big one.
But at the same time, so we're on a Friday. You remember that by Monday, this deal will have died down. They're supposedly going to have a phone conversation today. And I look for, Trump said just yesterday, because I think he's got Trump derangement syndrome. I think he's lost his mind is what the Donald
What
said.
did he say? Now that he's no longer working for him, he misses him?
Yeah, he goes, I think he misses the place. I think he misses being here.
This is the president.
Yeah.
There might be some truth to that.
I
I mean, he was in the Oval Office all the time, and now he's not in there.
Yeah. Hanging out, wearing black with his shades on.
So Russia apparently launched some drone strikes on Ukraine, and they hit the capital Kyiv yesterday, or around Kyiv. Waves of drones and ballistic missiles after the Ukraine knocked out a bunch of nuclear-powered bombers and fighter jets.
They weren't nuclear powered.
Oh, they weren't?
They were nuclear bombers. They could deliver nuclear
nukes.
weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. So my cousin Mark Rash just checked in from Corpus. He has to listen to us on social media, and he says that Corpus is ready for Wade and Carter. There's no doubt about
family.
it. Well, yeah, I've got lots of family. We could get those listeners down there.
So, the interesting thing on this Ukraine drone attack that knocked out like 140 bombers or something
that are apparently very expensive and unable to be reproduced
because they don't make them anymore. But some of the details on how they did it, it was almost like the Israeli beeper incident, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of strategery going on. Make this good. I want to read what the president there said. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz.
There you go.
He says, speaking of Donald Trump, the German chancellor said, "We both agree on this war and how terrible this war is going on. And we are both looking for ways to stop it very soon. And I told the president, he is the key person in the world who can really do that now by putting pressure on Russia." That is important. There's nobody else who has any leverage at all with Moscow. So I think if the president can find a way, you would think at that level, even the pseudo adversarial level, you would think that the president could lean on Putin and say, "Come on, man, does this need to happen? Can we make this stop?"
Well, the fact that they were supposed to sit down for peace talks early this week, Ukraine and Russia, and then the day before, Russia bombed Ukraine.
Yeah, and like
then Ukraine bombed their bombers.
They'd been planning that for like 18 months. And I guess I would think if I'd been planning it for 18 months, that I could have waited one more day. I think I
don't know. Do you miss your opportunity at
there
that point?
You go.
Do they get
I don't know.
Because
we can't go on together
with
suspicious minds.
Not at all.
No. They're clearly caught in a trap.
Absolutely.
Can't walk out.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's take a quick break.
Except there's no love there.
It's Friday. Folks, Palace Bingo, Ash was going to find us a date. Hasn't done so. We'll get back to you on that. The office is at 205. Space available for you. Come in anytime.
Coming up with a date.
Come in anytime and view the beautiful suites available here.
I'll fall on that sword for you.
Come on in. Love to have you. The chopping block. Get in today. Still have the ballpark.
I know what I got to tell you. If you like chopped ham from Dick's and you like their whole fryer chickens from Dick's.
Well, you got to say that one carefully on a Friday morning.
You can now, if you were a former Dick's customer who liked
Not
your
getting better.
who liked your meat from Dick's, you can now get at the chopping block.
I mean, it's semantics. It's all wordplay, but you have to be careful with that one.
If you're taking it in a direction that I'm not intending, that's not my problem. That's
right.
you problem.
I don't disagree. I just, for some reason, I was thinking, would you like a bag of chopped dicks? That made me nervous. I didn't know what you were doing with that. Deviled ham? Are you talking about chicken salad? What are we talking about?
Chopped ham is what I saw.
Chopped ham.
This is straight from the chopping block.
I can't imagine that's difficult to make.
It's like spam.
Just get some ham and chop it up. Do you need
And the
some
whole
type of
fryers.
a gel to like a congealing agent?
I think
Pectin.
so. Yeah.
Pectin. Okay.
It's more like head cheese.
Just stop. Get by the chopping block. They're going to have something you like. They do great.
They've got the
things
$7
with
sirloin
beef.
still, and their ribeyes and the picanhas all still there. Get in, tell them, and when you get there, tell them you listen to us.
There you go. White Trash Services, White Trash Site Services. Let them haul off that unsightly blight on your property. They can bring out a dumpster and drop it off, pick it up the next week. You can load it up with all your garbage. White Trash Services, 550-1826 Chestnut Furniture. Chestnut and Love make your house a home. Get by this weekend. See why you just always do better at Chestnut. Great folks, bedding, appliances, and all types of
Accoutrement.
There you have it. Brand us. Call the commander. Great guy.
Don't call him now because he's working for us at the moment.
He is busy. He's working with us. He's part of
True.
the team. He's special. And he met several of our DEI hiring initiatives.
Which are now
deemed illegal. We'll get to the Supreme Court decision in just a moment.
Hey, do I have to leave?
Atzenhofer, no, we can't fire you. That'd be discriminatory. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com for your next vehicle. Whether you want a gently pre-owned Chevy or other fine vehicle, they've got them. Peter McNally points out, summer fun, Texas versus Tech tonight for the national championship. Kennedy. That lady really rectified herself yesterday.
Texas
she pitched
had a
well.
lot of mistakes.
They did.
And every one of them seemed to lead to Texas Tech runs.
4-1. It does help that in softball, the bases are only 22 feet apart. Like you take 3 steps, you're on second.
I mean, Tech had the bases loaded at first inning, I think, right? And
Yeah.
couldn't cash it. And I thought, they're not going to win because they blew that chance early, but they managed to string it together.
I can't help but feel they grossly underestimate the athleticism of the modern woman.
There were some nice plays yesterday.
There were some nice plays, but you find yourself like they hit it and 4 steps later they're on first. I'm like, make those bases a little bigger, make the outfield a little deeper.
At some
These
point
girls
they might have to.
Ever since.
Well, have you noticed that field in Oklahoma City, the fence is in a little bit. They do have room to move it back if they needed to.
Well, ever since OU found that one trailer park outside of Norman, and they found all those girls that were just immense and athletic, it seems like women's or softball has really soared. Texas has been good. A&M has been good.
This would be the first national championship for either one of these two programs, Texas or Texas Tech.
Yeah.
So
I gotta figure that Texas is the favorite.
Well, with a 6 seed and Tech was the 12th seed, right? Or ranked. I think that's the seeding. And Texas has been to the World Series 12 times, I think, and never won it. This is Tech's first time in the World Series.
They're
buying themselves a championship with that $1 million NIL money to Miss Kennedy to get her from Stanford to Tech.
Good for her.
I don't know. Yeah.
Capitalism.
Absolutely.
Very, very fun to watch. Tell you what's a quick game. And it is fun to watch. And there are some really athletic young ladies. Did Kevin was the Texas pitcher the same one last night as it was the day before?
They used 3 pitchers, I think, yesterday. So I don't know. I mean, Kennedy went the distance.
You look for her to pitch again tonight?
Yeah, I do. I really do. She's there. I mean, you're not paying her $1 million to sit on the bench in the deciding game of the College World Series.
That's incredible. It's really, they pay her $1 million to be.
Yeah. No wonder pro softball can't take off.
No, I mean, and when she goes pro at the end of the year, she won't make $1 million. That's the thing. It's women's softball doesn't pay that yet.
Jenny Gonzalez checking in. Kathleen Leininger, Christy Thurman, Bobby Leister on the high seas. Good morning, Bobby. Aruba, the last time I think I saw a picture from you. Lisa Poole, Peter McNally,
It's
Jennifer
always good to
Rayburn.
see Pete check in. He's a fine gentleman. He's
June.
wrong a lot about politics, but he's a super nice guy.
Hi, Marina. Christy Thurman. I think everybody's in there. I wonder if pro sports had to begin now with all the money in college sports, would the NFL and Major League Baseball look like it does today with all these contracts?
I don't think so. I still find it very difficult to believe it. It's purely like they didn't get the Dodgers did not give Shohei Ohtani $500 million because they like him.
No.
They gave him $500 million because they thought they could sell $250 million worth of jerseys and $300 million worth of tickets and advertising at their stadium. And it's clearly an investment in their mind, which is why when you get down to it, the fan in us is like, you've got to keep Kyle Tucker. He's a good player. But, Tuck's not really all that marketable.
No.
In fact, he's having or was having a tremendous season to start. Nobody knows.
He's in Chicago.
He's in Chicago
And
nobody
unless you're
cares.
in Boston or the Yankees, ESPN doesn't cover you.
Right.
And we only knew about Tucker because he played for the Astros.
That's right. And you may want to bring up his
I'm doing
stat
it right
line.
now.
Does anybody know?
ESPN tends to cause our computer to crash, so I'm going to pull it up on my phone instead because I don't want it to happen.
Kyle Tucker. I don't.
Speaking
know
of which,
anything.
Astros won a rain delayed start yesterday, 8-2 over the
Good.
Pirates. So good to see that happen because
They needed that. Who pitched?
Yeah,
Or who got the win?
Fromber,
Good.
7 innings, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, gave up.
Fromber's been
runs.
so steady for the last several seasons. He's somebody we
Just
may
6-4
lose.
right
By
now.
the way,
Yeah.
I think Fromber may be on the trade block here by the All-Star break.
It should be too bad. Paredes hit 2 home runs.
Isak has made me completely forget about what was that guy's name at third?
Oh,
Exactly.
Was he number 2?
Yeah.
Was he
Kyle
from
Bregman,
Was he from LSU? Jewish kid from Phoenix.
Albuquerque.
Alex Bregman no longer really a thought to me. Isak Paredes.
And I think he's hurt. Isn't he on the disabled list?
Yeah.
In
Well,
Boston?
he did that face plant and great player. I mean, he was a great player, but he was a ball player. If you go back and look, that the teams that have won World Series and been to World Series, I mean, the only guy left on the team, period, who was there is Jose Altuve. The team has turned over in total since Verlander's gone. Nobody on the staff was, on that 19 team. Nobody.
Kyle Tucker has a hurt finger.
It's a contract year. He'll play through that pain.
Dodgers expected to be in the mix now, according to what I just saw for Kyle Tucker at some point.
But it couldn't happen to a better bunch, right? Because they find a way to not win championships. So
283, 12 homers, 39 RBIs for Kyle Tucker.
that's a good start. 12 homers, a lot of homers.
Yeah.
He's on the pace to hit 40 for the year. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Until he gets to October.
Well, that's the problem. He's still looking for his first postseason hit ever. And you're looking at the guy and just going, he's got so much game and he seems like such a nice guy that you want him to be successful.
No, I like Kyle Tucker.
I do too.
I'm not. I mean, when I'm.
Do you like him enough to bring him back? Would you
not at the
sign
money
him?
he wants? Because
Yeah.
I don't. There's more upside in Cam Smith right now in
I
right
agree,
field than Kyle
100%.
Tucker.
Amen. So I agree. And Cam Smith is still here.
And then that
On a
Melton
budget.
and that Melton kid's looked pretty good since getting called up in the outfield too. So
Hunter Melton builds a nice home too. I don't know. There's JP Hall. He just says more.
well, that's all he needs to say. Tom Price, good to see you, sir. It's been a while.
Good guy. Good guy.
So who do we got tonight? You taking Texas? I'm going to take Tech.
Okay.
I'll take Tech.
That's
just
fair.
so that one of us is right
Yeah,
on Monday morning.
I've got the Longhorn deal.
I got red
here.
on, so yeah. we're
I've
good.
got my, this is my golf cap from the Paris Golf and Country Club,
in Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas. One of my
Nice.
favorite places to be. Absolutely.
Wasn't there a song about Paris, Texas? No,
Somewhere.
not that Paris.
Right.
Kathleen Leininger says, I'd like to see the repercussions for the warmongering deep state players that are trying to work against Trump's peace plans in the Ukraine. They're determined to draw the U.S. into World War III. I don't know that they want to go that far.
Raytheon.
They want to keep us in
Lockheed Martin.
because that's how they make all their money. If there's wars going on everywhere else, I think they're to a point where they don't want to put U.S. servicemen and women in harm's way anymore, but they have no problem killing non-Americans to pad their profits.
That's right. Was there a hockey game last night?
No, there was not. Chris Thurman asked, and no, there was not. It is tonight, game 2, Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton Oilers lead that series 1-0. It will be tied after tonight, 1 apiece, and it will go back to Florida, and Florida will win the next 2.
Good morning, Marina. Good to see you. Where does she live?
Vancouver.
There you go.
Double our listenership.
In Vancouver.
Yep.
Awesomeness.
Her and her daughter.
We got anybody
check
in Newfoundland? They would be here a half hour early, right?
We do. Joe McNeil
Okay.
listens in Newfoundland. Although I don't know if he's on the Rock or if he's in the Labrador part.
Okay, so like so if I'm looking at Canada and I'm going like say, above New York or I'm above California, where is Newfoundland? Is it above Michigan?
Geography. I will put this on for everybody to see.
I want to see how many of you really could go, honestly, be honest, how many of you could go from, Alberta, Quebec, how many of you could go across Canada and tell me what the provinces are? I cannot.
There's more than one.
Yeah, there's Saskatchewan.
Well, it's not even that. It's going to be the 51st state.
Ontario. There's Quebec. Now, where are the Newfies?
Out here. Why is it doing that? Right there. There's the Newfies.
It's not can you get that on the screen?
Yeah, I'm working on that. Thank you.
We struggle sometimes on
we
the technical
don't.
side, and I just refuse to learn to do it. I'm making him do it. He's much more technical than me.
There's the map of Canada.
No, but now, is that what's on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you start over there. The pink one is
British Columbia.
That's British Columbia?
Yep.
Well, other than the next one must be Calgary. It must be Alberta. Okay.
This is fascinating for the people on Magic.
Well, but no, so we're going, yes, it is. We're going to go
left to right.
And they're like, ¿Dónde está Saskatchewan? We're going to go from left to right. So you got British Columbia, which is right above Washington State.
Correct.
Then you got Alberta, which is kind of above Idaho,
Montana.
Yeah, that's
and Idaho's kind of right between.
Right. There's Calgary down in southern Alberta.
Yep.
And Edmonton right above. They have a huge rivalry and everything.
And they are the capital. They are the provincial capital.
As is Regina.
Regina.
Careful.
You're closer to
right there by
violating one of the 7 words you can't say than I was with my
right there by
talking about chopped ham and meat
by Deer Nuts, Saskatchewan. the Canadians name everything after what they see. Moose Knuckle, Saskatchewan,
or what they eat.
Then you got Manitoba, and then Ontario, capital of course being Ottawa.
That's the Canadian capital.
Yep. Then Quebec. Now, see, I would have thought that Ontario. My brain said Ontario was in Quebec. That's what I thought.
Oh.
I did. So Newfoundland, for some reason, and it's just got to be like an inferiority complex. It must be. There's got to be a reason that the Newfies decide to add a half hour, deduct a half hour. So it's now 7:30 in the morning here. It's
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. It's not an hour later like it is in New York, not 8:30 Eastern time. Are they that far out there really that it makes sense for them to be another half hour?
According to those that take care of the time zones, I guess.
And then are they sharp enough that they're open 8:30 to 5:30 so that normal people can deal with them in terms of business?
I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, there's Newfoundland and New York's down here. So, yeah.
Is there any industry or anything of any consequence in Newfoundland besides hounds?
Fishing.
Hounds? Don't they raise hounds there? Newfoundlanders?
Yeah, maybe.
Fishing. Okay, I learned something every time, and I still can't go.
Marina says Texas should be the 11th province of Canada.
Well, in all fairness, that sounds as logical as what Donald Trump proposed. You don't tell a sovereign nation, we're going to make you a state. It's funny. It's funny, but it's also it's such a put down, That's like, it is. It's like telling somebody, I can write a check for you and you can work in my yard.
Cody said this was fascinating for the folks on Magic. Scott Tomko says this was just as fascinating for us on Facebook.
Well, there you have. It's a Friday. You people.
What you get on Friday?
We're big in Scotland now.
Jerry McCregan says, lose rights and triple your taxes. Don't forget to double your costs on everything.
That's what happens in Canada.
Hey.
Yeah. $300 for groceries.
Stephanie
for a week
wants Darian Ross to tag herself.
That's her daughter.
Oh, as watching so we can be big in Scotland. Well, good morning, Darian Ross.
We're huge in Scotland.
Scotland's over there. Scotland's over there by England. That's part of the UK.
It's above England.
Yeah.
Across the pond, dude.
Yeah. Scotland.
I think it's part of Great Britain. It's part of the United Kingdom, but not all of the United Kingdom is part of Great Britain.
I don't even understand that. Do you?
It's confusing. I'd have to look at it again.
Great Britain, the UK,
England.
England's so inconsequential now to me. I mean, who cares, right? England. Who cares? Fish and chips. That's it. Corbin Bale says this show is like a car wreck. You just can't stop watching. I appreciate that because
you don't know how hard we have struggled all week to deliver
there
content
really hasn't
because
been
there's
much
been
happening.
nothing. And about the only thing that was exciting this morning was the Elon Trump thing, and we've talked through that. We can't stretch that for an hour.
There is
and
one.
Nobody's calling us.
No, nobody calls. That's the deal. You're all gutless, all of you. No,
there's a way to win over the viewers, Trump.
Why don't you call and get your share of abuse? Anybody who wants to call, we'd love to have you.
We could roast you.
And it would be so easy for most of you. But there is a story worth telling. The
Supreme Court
has ruled there was a lady, she had worked in her workplace for 15 years.
Yep.
And her boss happened to be gay. And on 2 separate occasions, based on merit, she felt that she deserved 2 different promotions. And in both cases, not only did the person get promoted above her was also gay, but at one point she was actually demoted. And she filed a lawsuit, and the state that she was in said that because she was not a minority, because she was hetero, forget that she's a woman and they were men, but because she was heterosexual, her burden of proof of discrimination was higher than anybody else. So the logic would be whatever minority you are in, you are favored in the law.
This was taking place in Ohio.
And the Supreme Court ruled that no, the law doesn't discriminate.
They didn't just rule, they ruled unanimously.
Yeah, the law does not say that if you're accusing someone of race discrimination, that because you're white, you've got to really prove it, because you could say, well, that's no big deal because to us in Texas, that makes perfect sense. What sense does it make that, well, okay, wait, so the gay guy promotes another gay guy, and because you're hetero, well, so what? Gays have been discriminated against for so long, you've just got to give them their due. Well, the law is still the law. How you interpret it is up for discussion. The Supreme Court says, no, it's not. The implication is, the long range implication is, you can no longer discriminate based on race either. The law does not discriminate. So DEI hiring, out the door. So a historic minority recruitment for scholarships, out the door. You've got to let folks participate equally.
Their merit.
That's right.
We're getting back to a merit-based society, and what is wrong with that?
It's American. It's a
Well,
huge.
Unless you're in AOC's world, because nobody pulls themselves up by their bootstraps.
Yeah, she's an idiot. It's a huge win for the Trump administration.
Supreme Court basically saying, according to the New York Times, that the appeals court was wrong to require her to meet a heightened burden
Doesn't
in
this
seeking
seem
to prove
absurd
workplace
to begin
discrimination
with?
just because she was a member of the majority group.
Right. But she was a woman, which puts her in a minority group, but it was trumped by the fact that the other group was more disenfranchised because the gay guys, deserve the promotion over the hetero woman. And she said, no, that's not right. So there you go.
Yeah, we were going to get to this one too, Andrew Alvarez. Supreme Court yesterday also ruling that Mexico couldn't sue American gun makers.
Yeah, they were suing folks like, Colt and Smith & Wesson, saying that American gun makers had aided and abetted violence in Mexico.
Let's not blame the cartel because they don't want to be killed by the cartel.
Well, once again, it's basically saying, hey, look, guns kill people. Or people kill people, guns don't kill people. So don't blame the gun maker.
Yeah.
Don't blame the guy that made the pencil because you failed the test. Don't blame the spoon because you're fat.
Why not? I blame the spoon all the time.
You, my friend, are not fat.
Are you the big spoon?
You look well.
I knew that's where he was going.
If it were to come to that, I would be the big spoon. Yes.
It was a cold night.
If it were to come, he wouldn't keep me very warm. I can tell you
he'd keep me warm though.
He might be a little midnight snack and then move on.
You throw me to the wolves.
Can you imagine?
They'd come after you. Here, take the little guy.
That's the show, folks.
Thank God for
Take
Dawn.
the little guy, Wolf.
Thank God for Dawn.
Absolutely.
Yes. Amen.
I can thank God too.
Just
not yet.
Yes, you can.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yes, nothing to see. Nothing to see.
Jamie Raskin says the big, beautiful bill will not survive. He's, of course, a Democrat from Maryland. So do we really care what he says? And he was saying this on
Not until
MSNBC.
Kilmar comes back.
But I mean, I've said this all along. I don't think they're going deep enough. But anyway.
Jonathan Williams points out McCullers' next start to be delayed. But you're right. They don't tell you much about injuries. I don't think he's hurt. They maybe just be trying to rest him. He sure gave you 6 innings last time of great baseball. I don't think he's hurt.
I just don't think he needs, in my opinion, he needs to learn to pitch better. I think he's wasting too many pitches at times. I mean, you're coming off 3 years rest and 2 major surgeries. I don't know that you need to be at the 105 pitch count 5 and 6 innings into a start.
I agree.
Let's go Greg Maddux and do like what was it, 70 pitches in a complete game one time or something like that, 79 pitches. That's where he needs to be. I think he's throwing too many pitches. I think he still thinks he's the Lance McCullers pre-Tommy John who could strike out a bunch of guys. I don't think he needs to be that guy anymore.
Agree. I think they need to try to get 5 innings out of him and then go long relief. Although, like I've pointed out, Bobby Abreu, what's his name? Brian Abreu has been very, very.
Bobby was the hitter.
Very, very good over the seasons, but Abreu has struggled.
Interesting. The Congressional Budget Office, which was getting hammered earlier this week by Republicans because and after it was revealed that they don't give any money to Republicans running for office, but all the members of the Congressional Budget Office give their political donations to Democrats.
Now it went from 1.4 to 2.8.
Yeah. Now they're saying that Trump's tariffs will slash deficits by 2.8 trillion over 10 years. Is this just because?
Give me his phone over there. Can you give me a phone?
That one. That's the one that works, right?
Should be on the Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's there. What's up?
How come he's not there? You there? I don't know.
Hang on, Pat. Hang on.
It's ringing. It rang. He's there.
I am.
It's connected. It is connected. Look to the roadie. How come it's not on?
I don't know.
All right, Pat, we'll call you back. Call us 894-4020, please. 894-4020. I don't understand.
I don't either.
Just let it go on a Friday. It's a Friday. On a Tuesday, I'd be spinning in right now. It doesn't work on my phone.
It does.
It won't fit it. Don't argue with me. Give me the line over there.
All right, let's see if this works.
Are you there? Hang on.
Hang on.
This matters, folks.
Might be a setting.
Are you there now? I don't know what to do. It says I'm there, but he's not there. Well, that's okay. That we can stretch this out. Listen, wait. Can you hear me now, Pat?
I hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to try to let you
text him my number.
I don't even know your number.
All right,
Pat, we're gonna
call me back.
We're gonna call
Here,
no,
call me back
don't.
on this number.
All right, hang on.
361-935-6215.
935-6215. Call him back. 935-6215.
Make sure my ringer's on.
The links we go to for our friends.
I don't know what's going on today.
I don't know.
That worked the other day.
It is the weirdest thing, folks, how you can come to a studio every day, everything works like a champ, and then the next day nothing works. It's bizarre because nobody's in our space. That's what gets
And
me.
we didn't change anything.
Dang Chinese garbage.
I mean, this makes
935-6215. Pat, we're all on pins and needles here, waiting for you to call.
How can we go on?
Hoping he'll call.
Now this is frustrating. See what's going on
Definitely
here.
not calling back.
John Paul says we need Allen's record service to pull this show out of the ditch.
No, Tammy
Yeah.
Keeling says, great show. Tammy, go listen to country music somewhere. Do us all.
I think she's being serious.
I don't think she's being serious at
No,
all.
well, she's not alone in her feelings right now.
Well, yeah. Wish she would permanently go listen to country music, oldies.
We used to blame it on the Magic folks messing with your equipment.
Yeah.
They did. I mean,
They did. All right, Pat's not going to call, so I guess Pat's out of luck. We were
Give
going
me
to
Pat's
promote his
number.
program.
Give me Pat's number.
Not sure Pat wants you to have his number. Come on, man. Here, handle it. I
Okay.
can't handle it.
All right. What do you?
I'm going to take a quick break while Ash does that. Tim at the dollar floor store. I'm glad that I had tile in my house last night. I got home and the Riker, the Wonder Dog, who many of you I'm sure are wondering why he's not here, he had decided to sling his dinner all over my house.
Yeah.
And it helps to have a tile floor. If you've got that nasty carpet, get into the dollar floor store and let them help
Pat,
you.
let us get. Well,
No, let's
now
go ahead. Let's get
it's
Pat while
working
we
now.
got
Now we
it.
got him.
Good Lord.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Wow. Now that we got this figured out, we're doing good.
Pat, we're trying to get people excited, even more excited to be at the show. Is it tomorrow night? Yes, the 7th.
Yeah. Are we live right now?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually postponing that show, unfortunately.
Okay, no, that's
have-
fine. Everybody needs to know that.
Yeah, everybody needs to know that. I've been kind of leaking it out little by little, but we didn't have a big enough response on it. So we're going to postpone it. Haven't figured out the exact date yet, but
Okay.
it will happen probably a
that's
little bit later
awesome.
in the summer. We're going to wait for it to get hotter.
That's what we needed to know, and we wanted to give you every opportunity to promote the Lone
Well, I
Star
sure appreciate
Playboys. Yes, sir. So no worries, no worries. Let's talk in the next couple of days, and let's get you back on.
Yeah. Let's
Okay,
do it.
buddy. Hey,
Appreciate
go
it.
get 'em.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Yep.
buddy. Well, there you go. So
Yeah.
it was just 20 minutes of the
Yeah.
show. They're trying to get him on. Paravita Wellness, get in and get healthy. Vita Cafe. Erica Briggs came by yesterday. The food is amazing. Go by and order a protein bowl. I mean, I had brisket, eggs, cottage cheese. And it had sweet potatoes and pico. It was phenomenal. It will definitely fill you up. Torn Bell says we definitely need the drunk
Yeah,
lady
the drunk
to call
lady
in. No
calling.
kidding.
Yeah,
She
could've
was
saved,
so
could have
special.
saved this show today.
Yes. Went
Maybe you
services.
and I should have just taken it off.
You know that the flag is going to be flying. They're putting up a 30-foot American flag out on the highway, on Highway 87 as you come into
If the
town.
flag's flying, people are buying generators.
Well, and it's going to be your welcome to Victoria. It's right there on the outskirts of town. Get by Veracruz today. It's Chicken Fried Friday. Veracruz is your home for the best Mexican food in town, best guac, best queso, best salsa. Get by and see them. And then, of course, USA Concrete Coatings. If you want to sand it, seal it, stain it, paint it, whatever you want done to your concrete, they can do it. They can level it. They can seal the cracks. They can put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't
Crack, stick, peel, or fade.
Amen. So
we need
they
to
are
test
great
Commander on
folks.
that next week.
578-HOME. That's the number for Charlie Garcia.
So this a little disturbing, and I mean, maybe it's Friday and we've kept it somewhat light. Overdoses and drug poisoning is now the third leading cause of death in young people under the age of 20 in this country. Only firearms and motor vehicle crashes cause more deaths of young people in this country.
Have overdoses, though, and drug poisonings not probably always been close to third? People under 20 aren't dying of cancer. They're not dying of COVID. They die in car wrecks and accidental shootings, right? What else is there for them to die of?
Well, it doesn't. It's the way CNN phrases it, are now the third leading cause of death. So no, it
Fentanyl
hasn't always been the case.
It's increased more than 20-fold between 2013 and 2022.
And I wonder, 6 years ago, Dan Patrick, our lieutenant governor, and our governor, Greg Abbott, were all championing hemp and THC and
Medicinal
CBD
benefits,
products and the
medicinal
medicinal benefits. And 6 years later, what changed? Because now they've gotten rid of it, and we're talking thousands of jobs, thousands of small businesses. And I'm just wondering if this will just, the cartel is going to come swooping in, because no longer are you going to be able to get your CBD oil that you take or a gummy to reduce your anxiety. Now you're going to have to go find some dealer on the street.
Yeah, the
And
cartel
buy some marijuana. Absolutely, the
Cartel's thrilled with it. Jonathan Williams says this show's going like Whataburger at 2 a.m. You know, you can take that analogy and stretch it out. It's like you've got to have it. It's the only game in town at 2 a.m. You simply got to have that sponge to get you through the evening. But I can't disagree. And I think what it really does is it shows you what a tremendous job we do most days. That when you flop, I mean, Johnny Carson was arguably at his best when his monologue flopped. That has nothing to do with this show.
No, because we're not anywhere near
Nowhere
Johnny
near
Carson.
Johnny Carson
It's just
or
an analogy.
near our best.
We're better.
Yeah.
No.
But we love it when you guys check. What about Sean Diddy Combs? They're getting ready to make it so that Diddy can't be in the courtroom, because yesterday during some cross-examination, he was nodding vigorously. An attorney was making a point that Diddy wanted to make sure that the jury got. So he was nodding vigorously, which is against the rules. In other news, Diddy inviting the jury over for a party after the court is over.
Well, and in other news, this jury's too old for Diddy.
Right.
Diddy what?
Yeah, right. Diddy? I don't know. Now, see, so what was this CNN here?
Yeah, this is
So,
CNN.
okay, look, that doesn't surprise me. Supreme Court sides with straight woman in decision that makes it easier to win reverse discrimination suits.
Wouldn't
They're
this
really
just-
not reverse discrimination. They're
It's
just discrimination.
Yes, exactly.
That's the whole point. You don't get to say it's discrimination in light of the fact that he's in the majority, you know, because the worst thing to be in this country is a Christian, employed, white male. That's the worst thing to be. You've got no legs in court against a minority, paralyzed, special needs homosexual. You got no chance in court. If you vote for him, you're misogynistic, you hate gay people, you're racist. I mean, that's the dilemma. And the Supreme Court says, hey, imagine this, justice is blind. The law is still the law. You don't get to just morph it to suit your social and political agenda.
Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson voted in favor of
Absolutely. Saying that equality for all, inequality for any is inequality for all. So good job.
Is Greenpeace getting out of their lane here? Have they just been so out of the spotlight that they're doing anything they can to get back into
because
it?
nobody cares about them.
Greenpeace activists took a wax statue of French President Emmanuel Macron from the outside of a museum and then placed it outside the Russian embassy in Paris. They're saying it's to protest continued business ties between the two countries. France. Where's the rest of the world's pressure? If you really want to slow, maybe this is where Donald Trump could step up, since Germany thinks that Trump's the only one that really has any chutzpah to get this war ended. Maybe he needs to put pressure on Macron to stop doing business with Russia. Buy your oil and gas from us.
But these people that go in to like the Louvre or whatever, and they go in there and they throw tomato soup on these priceless artworks, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just wrong. It's like committing suicide. You're making permanent decisions on temporary problems. It's not fair to the world for you to go in and deface the Mona Lisa because you don't like somebody driving a gas vehicle. People like that should be shot. Just do away with them. Just shoot them. What percentage of illegals do you think will actually be deported? Peter McNally, I'm operating off the number of 21 million, let's say, or here. I mean, I'd be surprised if 5%, a million, are deported over time.
Yeah, it's hard to peg the percentage because we don't know the true number. It's anywhere from 10 to 23 million. It just depends on who's telling the story and what day and what, on the Democrat side.
I do have somewhat of a problem. We talked about this the other day. I have a problem with the deportations. They're grabbing all the low hanging fruit. When you've got people that are working and doing things, I'm not saying that they deserve to stay here, but you go get the MS-13 guys. Go get the folks that have committed crimes in our country since they've been here. It doesn't mean that you can merit. I'm arguing against myself. I'm not suggesting you can merit time here against the law because you happen to be pretty good at finishing concrete. I'm just saying it's too easy to go to a construction site and disrupt an entire operation because you're just going to deport everybody when the guys are working, paying taxes and doing their thing. I've come around to, Ash is really my go-to on immigration. And I have come around to the idea of some of these people, if they've been here and they've acted right and they're employed and they contribute, maybe you grant them a green card and you let them stay as they give them permanent resident status. But in exchange for that, they sign off that they'll never become a citizen and they'll never vote. I've got no problem with that. Everybody that's here illegally isn't a criminal outside of that. And I can't hardly blame somebody for trying to get into the United States.
1,400 arrested in the Boston area, illegals.
But these American people that are out here disrupting the activities of ICE, they should all be detained. They're worse than January 6 people. Much worse.
This is from the New Republic. And they are calling this a huge failure because only 54% of the 1,400, almost 1,500 arrested actually had criminal convictions or charges. 277 of them, or roughly 20%, had received final orders of removal or deportation. They don't know if those two, any overlap in there. But how is getting rid of 1,461 illegals a loss, and 800 of them having criminal convictions or charges? How is that a loss?
No, I think it's...
But the New Republic obviously leans left.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
If you have to deport 1,400 to get 800 criminals, then deport them.
But they're all criminals. They all broke the law to get here.
I agree, but the others are are multiple people. Peter McNally says, I'm making sense. Folks, I apologize. I must have done something incorrect. Can you give the brother man Mike 3?
Yeah, one caveat I've always said, except for maybe some minors, anybody else, if you're going to give them a chance, they need to leave the country and then try to get back in.
I don't. And Andrew
Legally,
Alvarez has
legally.
another good point. They don't count towards the census. I don't think that if you're the state that employs the most illegal aliens, and that all of a sudden you should have more representation in Congress. I don't disagree with that statement at all. There's the applause for the great one. He's in the house.
Saving the show with Mr. Bill.
No doubt, because he's so
G.I. Joe.
consistent. He can come in and right now, Brother G, we're at a complete ebb in show quality. We have dropped to a level unprecedented, even in the mediocrity of this program.
This is probably our most mediocre show
No
ever.
doubt about it. Like
Except for maybe the first one.
we're really struggling, but we need you to give us something.
Well, I'm the lucky guy to be with y'all. So
Well, we
any time is a
appreciate
good
you, sir.
time for
You're
me. So
pulling us
thank
out
you
of the
very much.
ditch.
I mean that. It's always
Take a
pleasure.
few minutes and tell the folks how much we do mean to you. That would
You do mean a lot to me. We love them. We love them. They're friends. Not
We're-
only are they
only
great
'cause we're-
broadcasters, you're friends.
we're a bag of knuckleheads.
You're-
When we're
the
together,
king size version is
yes,
right
sir.
here.
You're the boss.
Here, I'm the boss of the king size.
It's only gone downhill since I declared you my radio soulmate. the
Yeah,
other day.
don't meet. Everybody wants to know
Too much.
Horns?
Too much.
or tech tonight. Horns or tech.
I wanted the horns. All right, I got one for you on that one.
Okay.
And there's a couple of events we got to mention: golf and fishing. But tonight, I want the horns to win. But that girl, Najari Canaday,
Yes.
she's hard to beat. And Jessica Mendoza, she said the night before she'll win that second game. She did. Now
she
they got
pitched
4-1. They had them. Then she got softened up a little bit. We got up to 3 runs.
Softened up a little bit.
Softened up.
She was throwing 73 and she was throwing 70 in the seventh.
That's it.
So,
They
yeah,
pitched-
she
they
softened up.
They said
Softened
that
up.
70 at that distance is like
75 at one
it's
time.
like 100.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
105 or like that to
Yeah.
a major league ball player. Well, anyway, I'm going horns. I love the horns,
Yes, sir.
but that girl's going to be hard to beat tonight.
Oh.
We got to get an early lead. What you got to do is get an early lead.
So what's
Come on,
interesting, she's making $1 million pitching for Texas Tech.
She left Stanford to come to Texas Tech. NIL $1 million.
And with her degree from Texas Tech next year, she will be like an assistant manager at a Jack in the Box.
Okay, well,
That's-
they're going to get her for that new softball league, girl
They
softball.
will.
league.
Yeah, but she ain't going to make $1 million
She
in a
won't
pro
make $1 million
softball
over
league.
there.
Did she? You knew she got 50,000 extra for living expenses, and they gave her $24 for her jersey.
She's from Topeka, Kansas.
How about that?
How about that? She's from Topeka, Kansas. And
Yeah.
what does it say about her size? She's 6 feet tall. She's just a
You
tremendous
see how she
athlete.
throws that? How do you hit it?
Tremendous
how do you hit
athlete.
it?
I wouldn't.
I couldn't.
No, have you ever
Anyway.
taken any swings off the UHV girls?
Not in a few years because they humiliated me so
Yeah.
bad. I can't do. I
Yes.
won't do it again.
Why you embarrass yourself? Cash, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yep.
But yeah, that's really good.
Tell us about fishing.
All
What's
right,
going
here we
on?
go. We got ABC as their fishing tournament today and tomorrow in Port Connor. You know, every weekend they'll be fishing in Port Connor.
Sure.
And so they have the first one in June, and it's 5D Steakhouse. They'll be meeting over there.
That's a nice facility.
It's a
The
nice
Douglas have done a
facility.
nice job there. There's that outdoor patio out
Yeah.
there, and that's a
Nice.
great place to have an event. They did a good
Haley
job.
Singer Memorial Golf Tournament. That's a Texas Tech Alumni Association putting
Yes.
that on.
So there's
Uh,
2 players in that one.
Yeah, well, I think they
There's
get a good
few
crowd.
around
Yeah,
here,
I think so.
I know. I'm just teasing.
For scholarships, 11 o'clock, Victoria Country Club. Want to put those 2 out there. Got a new one here, right here. Cars and Coffee, Braga and all those boys with the Crossers Cruisers Car Club. New location tomorrow for the cars to be on display. Toasted Yolk. That sounds good.
oh,
doesn't
right
it?
there off the loop.
Yeah, right off the loop.
Good
Gonna have
visibility.
cars.
It's kind of
Yeah.
by Home Depot,
Yeah.
folks. If you
Good-
want to go, I've heard it's a very fine place. I
Good,
haven't been.
good visibility for them.
And I want you to know, I ate at Vita Cafe the other day. I was with Erica. We did a little deal over there for her, and her food's terrific.
Isn't it great?
Oh,
Fresh.
that's Austin.
Everything's fresh.
And my niece, she's Austin girl. She'd love that place.
Oh, yeah,
that's,
absolutely.
That's a little bit of Austin right there.
That's pretty cool.
Vita Cafe.
Yeah,
I
that's
like it.
Victoria, bro.
That's Victoria. Yeah, but
Vic-
she brought
Austin,
to
Texas,
Victoria.
trying to be like Victoria.
Yeah, Austin tried to be like
That's
Victoria.
right.
We love her.
Austin could be more like Victoria. It might not be the mess it's in.
It would help.
That's true. but like a 6th Street cafe, and I love that. She's
You
doing great.
you going over to do the show with Ralphie this
I'm
morning?
heading over there. We'll do a little bit of this and that. We have a good time. We always give y'all some.
The music's so
credit.
good. You need to, folks, if you haven't tuned into Magic 95.9, do
have
it
good
because
music.
Ralph and Brother Gary play all. I mean, you might turn it on and hear some
70s,
Creedence
little bit
Clearwater
80s.
Revival,
Yeah, we'll
whatever.
give
You're
it
not
to
going
you.
to just hear.
We got something for everybody, and
They've
it's
got
really
it all.
good stuff.
It's
I
good
really
stuff.
do, and enjoy being here with y'all boys. It's just a good time. How about Aaron Rodgers? Can
What did he do?
Oh yeah,
anything?
he might sign with the Steelers.
He did sign.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he
Okay,
did.
the
He
last
said-
headline I saw last night
Breaking news.
was
He
that
did
he was
sign
he was
yesterday. He's
thinking of
coming
it.
to make it legal today. He's going to Pittsburgh. He accepted their we don't know what it is. They've made the playoffs 6 years. They haven't won a first round game in 6.
No, they won't win
Is
with
that
Aaron
where-
Rodgers
6
either.
times.
Is that where Wilson is now?
No, he left.
So where did he go?
Jets, I believe.
Jets,
went to
Jets.
Jets. He went to Jets. So Aaron Rodgers is now a Steeler, and he's going to, if he doesn't get him to a first round win, it's a bust.
You know, I can remember when the Wilson
he
kid,
won't.
what's his first name?
Russell.
Russell Wilson. Everybody was like, he's a Hall of Famer. He's all
Oh, I thought-
he's just going
I
right
liked
on
him,
down the
too.
career toilet.
Yeah.
He's done.
Anyway, all good stuff, man.
Brother, man, we appreciate
Thank
you. And it's top of the hour, folks. We will spare you any more waiting card today and just tell you we love you. We hope you have a good weekend, and we will try to do better
Thanks.
come Monday. Thanks, folks.
Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.
Night, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that,